And then the final slide for today, pre-market movers and levels. Now, I have to bear with me for my pronunciation here, but in terms of pre-market movers, Manitowoc, MTW ticker in the US, around $19.75, up about 2.36% this morning as an activist hedge fund, Glenview, increases its stake above 7%. And the feeling is here that they could well agitate for shareholder value and try and, get some benefits for existing shareholders.
Right.
And then a little tech marketing company called Tube Mogul took my eye as well. Ticker is Tube, T-U-B-E in the US, down 6.18%. And they're basically down because they've announced, or proposed anyway, a sale of shares by the company and existing stockholders. In the States, you can put these things forward without having to be too specific about the terms, but on the document I saw this morning, they're talking about perhaps selling as much as $75 million worth of stock. That's around 14% of the company. So they've been knocked by 6.18%. And I guess, these growth stocks, if they have any hiatus in terms of what they're doing, then they get hit hard. So down over 6% at the moment, probably one to keep an eye on in the main session. And then as far as levels are concerned today, in the European equity session, we're a bit weaker, so we're back below 7,000 in the FTSE. And in terms of a downside level, I've picked out 6,810.
It was last month's low.
Yes, exactly.
But I mean, I think we've turned around, we've come back from the brink on that. The FTSE was, I think, down 1%, but it's sort of bounced back a bit. But obviously the Greek situation is not going to help.
It's not, no. And if we're going to make new lows, we'll probably need to go back through there. In terms of the upside, 69.75 and obviously 7,000 above. For the DAX, a slightly tighter range than we've had for a while. I've gone with 11,270 on the downside and 11,418 on the upside. And 11,800 seems a long time ago as far as that's concerned. S&P and the Dow, not any great shakes or change here really, sticking with 2,100 for its round number resistance or support rather in the S&P on the downside, and 2121, just tighten that slightly. We need to get through there.
So that might be something to a break out of that range might be worth chasing. Is that?
Yes, I think. Well, I think I'd pay quite close attention if it does move, below or above those numbers. And for the Dow, 17,924 on the downside and 18,130. And I think both of these, both those US indices really looking for a bit of directional cue.
So obviously the payroll's coming in later this week. Possibly taking out stops below the big numbers, below 2,100 and below 18,000, and then taking it up after that, something nasty like that.
Well, it could be. Remember, on payrolls, as often as not, the first move is not the right one.
It's the wrong one, yes.
So there's quite a possibility of that, I guess. If we move over to the currencies, euro, dollar, euro's firmed in the overnight really, and again into the European session. So 109.15 on the downside, and I've picked out 110.44 on the upside.
Relatively strong, really, given the fundamentals or the fear in the market.
Yes, and given
should be nearer 105. You would have thought, really.
Well, I mean, certainly, last week when it was trading down to 108 and testing, perhaps, looking like it could test below, you wouldn't have had too many people that were naysayers about that. If we move over to the Aussie dollar, relatively unchanged on the no change from the Reserve Bank of Australia today. So we've got 76.17 as our downside level, plays 76.73 on the upside. Again, I think just looking for some kind of impetus, some directional cues there. Dollar yen is the mover, or has been really in the last few days. 124.40 on the downside, plays a new big figure, 125.05 on the upside. And
so just rampant, really.
Yeah, I think you'd have to assume that with any negative catalyst for the yen, we'd see that 125 figure taken out. Having said that, the Japanese numbers were good this morning, and yet the yen still weakened. And then on cable, continuing to slide back towards 150, unfortunately. 151.65 on the downside and 152.70 the upside. That honeymoon. So
that's a surprise, really, between the euro and sterling. Bit of a surprise there, I think.
Yes, I think maybe you could say from cable's point of view that the honeymoon period after the election is over, and now we're waiting to see perhaps what George Osborne says in his budget. But yes, euro strength is probably the surprise of the week. Yeah.